Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the OK Run Show. We are back for our season finale here, if you will. We're going to be
Go.
discussing the 5 and 6A state meets. We meant to do this much earlier in the week, but we kept both having things going on at conflicting times, and it eventually got pushed all the way to what is today, Friday. But we're here, so
Oh,
we've got
that's
it. It is Friday now. Um, we've been busy. I've been helping people move, and Sean's been slinging snow cones. So guys, go
yeah.
see it. Go see him at Josh's. I don't know where it's located in Tulsa, but somewhere in Tulsa. If you find Josh's Snow Shack, go check out Sean there. He's probably there more often than anybody else.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
but
I've had a lot
anyway,
of snow this week. They, they're pretty good.
anyway, let's get into it. Let's get
Yeah, sure.
Sean will pull it up here. Uh, our apologies to the Broken Arrow coaching staff. We know you guys enjoy this deeply
Yeah, my
in
bad.
the
I think
coaching
I told them that
office.
we'd have it out by Tuesday, and
But we definitely
I
got
think
it
I
out
lied.
Friday.
Uh,
But we're gonna go through the 5 and 6A state meet. There's a lot of stuff to cover here, so we're gonna kind of rip through it. Starting off here with the girls 100-meter 5.8. This is your prelims. Sanaya Cravens, Sanaya Craven. No shocker here. She is the class of the field when it comes to sprints in the small
yes.
schools. There's just she was unmatched this weekend, and we will continue to see her name, so we'll keep going. Yeah. Oh wait, that was the
Uh,
final. Never mind. They have it listed
Hold
final
on.
then prelims.
And it was a
Meet record.
yeah.
Meet
Meet
record
record.
in the prelims, in the final, champion. One
Yep.
of, I believe, four championships she had on the weekend. Girls 200-meter, same story
Craven.
here.
Final. Sorry, Craven 24.44. Not much of a competition for her in this event. Moving down to the 400s, the final. To Talia Chenault, I believe is her name,
Mhm.
from Ardmore, 57.96.
Upsetting
Allie
Ali Hasselman,
Hasselman, 805. Yep,
who
that's a
was
pretty
the
big
favorite
upset.
kind of coming in, had the fastest time in the prelims, and we'll see her name again here in the next event.
Oh yeah, show enough. All right, 800 Allie Hasselman, 215.
Dominated.
Not really much of a competition for her in this either.
Hmm.
She was pretty far ahead of everybody else, obviously. Let's see. Emma Robinson, 800's not really her event, but she got top. She did
We
good
did
still.
we did learn that she actually started her career as a 400-meter runner and moved up
Oh, it is.
versus yes, she told us at the
When did
state
she say
meet.
that? Oh,
When
oh,
we were talking to her after her 2 mile, and I asked her if she was going to run the 4x8, and she goes, "No, I'm not on our 4x8." And she goes, "But I am on our 4x4." And I was like, "How does a four by four feel?" It's like a 2 miler, because that's always a fun one when you're the 2 miler, you're the state champ or whatever,
yeah.
and then you have to also run the 4x4. Um, she goes, "Well, I started with the 400, so it's actually kind of easy comparatively. The 2 miles much harder." And I was like, "All right, well, yeah." Fun facts you didn't know about Emma Robinson.
I guess so, man.
Um,
There you go. All right, moving on. Oh wait,
six,
1600. Emma Robinson,
16 and
514.
32
Yep.
can both be the same
And
story.
this is a meet
Meet
record for
record.
5A. Um, Sylvie Harper is a freshman.
Probably the
She got
future of the division.
second. Yep, right, both those. Let's move on here. 100 meters. Aaliyah Treat, I
Mm-hmm.
believe is her name.
Out of
15.
Duncan.
5. Um, Moving on. Let's see. Derea Collier, 4507. Um, I don't have much to say over these
Yeah.
two events. I don't know if you do, Colin, but
Hurdles hurdles was one event that I definitely neglected, didn't know who to
Yeah,
pick coming in. Um, that's true across all divisions. I had the least clue who was actually going to win. So I was actually kind of getting to learn something whenever I posted the kind of state
yeah.
meet prediction questions when people were chiming in on this, and I had to actually go research it a little more deeply than I had all season. But we can move on to the relays here with the girls 4x1 out of 5A. Claremore.
Claremore 48-38. Um, Booker T. Washington 48-51. Those were your top two. And then your finals for the 4x2, Claremore, Ardmore. This
This
was
is
very
the
close. This was a heck of a race.
mm-hmm. And this is the formula to win a state meet.
Yep.
Dominate in the relays, especially the
Right.
sprint relays.
Yep.
4x1, 4x2, put together a solid squad, nail the exchanges, and
4x8, all that.
you can
Yeah.
walk away with big team points.
Yep.
We always
142.44. Um, Moving on here. 4x4 for the finals. Guthrie won and pretty well actually it was not that close, but
by about it
403.28.
and
That's second.
the time doesn't tell the full story because it was a dogfight until the last about 30 meters when the
Oh,
Guthrie girl pulled away and Carl Albert faded just slightly there.
and then thinking about this we were talking about is I think Claremore scored just enough.
Just enough. We were sitting there doing the math as we were watching
Yep.
the 4x4 of what was needed to win for Claremore. And Claremore needed to finish, I believe it was sixth. They scored enough points to hold off, I believe it's Ardmore. They
Yep.
needed to be within a certain amount. And they were, and they walk away champions. Spoiler alert for when we get to the bottom of the scrolling to our team points down there.
4x8.
Bishop McGinnis.
McGinnis.
Not a shock here either. Like
Yeah, no.
they looked very, very solid. They're all freshmen, which is crazy.
Their whole
That's
team.
their whole all eight girls that they had listed as possible runners. All eight are freshmen. I look for Bishop McGinnis next year
Yeah.
in 5A in cross country. Look for them to really, really make a big
Crazy.
splash.
But I missed something. No.
Nope.
High jump. Um, I don't think this is shocking from what I've
No,
seen.
I don't believe it is at all. Maya Williams, I
Williams
think
five
all season
four.
was kind of she's the only one that even attempted at 5'7" because she's the only one that
Yeah,
could clear 5'4". Um, yeah, again, another one that's pretty uneventful. Um,
pole vault.
be a
Aaliyah
treat.
Treat. She
She,
also did, she
yep,
won the hurdles.
hurdles. Yep. I
Yeah,
would love to know because generally, if you're really good at the pole vault, you're really good at the hurdles. I imagine she can jump a little bit. I
yeah.
imagine she's pretty quick. I would
Or-
like to know if she's going to college to be a multi. Because some of the harder ones to learn are the very technical ones, which
Yeah,
are pole vault and hurdles. If you can pole vault and you can hurdle, and you're just a pretty good all around athlete, most schools see that and go, we could probably turn you into a multi, score some points. So very
yes.
versatile athlete here, Aaliyah Treat, walking away with another gold medal around her neck.
Sanaya Craven,
Another
long jump
shocker,
champion, 1901.5.
winning by a foot. She she really, when it comes to sprints and the long jump, she is a tier above anybody else in the division. And she returns again next year. I think a lot of the meet records, and even the ones she doesn't hold, like she does not hold the long jump record.
Oh,
That record could easily fall to her. And that record is, 30
oh,
plus years old.
yeah,
So
that's awesome.
nearing 40 years old. It will be 39 years old next year.
Yeah.
Jenna Blackford, not a shock at all. She has been a force in 5A for many years here. Even last year, I remember as we were trying to learn all the events and all the divisions, Jenna Blackford was a name that kept coming up. Always throws, always throws absolute bombs. 42 feet five, end her career with a gold medal around her neck. Pretty sweet. Sliding down the discus. This one's a
Javen, I think.
Javen Buffington.
I'm gonna
That's
go with Javen.
I
Maybe
think you're
like,
right. I think you're right.
well, could it be like Yavin? Yavin.
I don't think there's many girls named Yavin.
I mean, it sounds like it could be though.
Quote of the episode. I don't think there's many girls named Yavin. It's Javen Buffington. I'm gonna go Javen. Someone from Grove, please reach out. Send us an email at I don't know our email, milesplitok@gmail, I think is what it is. Send us an email.
I
We
love
may or may
that.
not read it for a month, but
Real.
it'll be there. Or OKRunCo Instagram also works probably more efficiently to let us know how do you pronounce Javen Buffington. Other than that, I don't know if there's really much else to talk about. I didn't know who would win this, and so I have no expectations, nor was I able to get over there and watch the competition. So
Let's
137 feet
go.
two, let's go. Win by almost 10 feet. That's a big time.
Okay.
Moving on to
6A
6A.
girls.
Go to the final here.
Jordan Atkinson,
Inevitable.
1201. It was a little
Inevitable.
closer than I think some people may have predicted, just because, Atkinson is kind of the class of the field, but it was pretty close.
It was pretty close, but also as she came off the 100 meter, she
Yeah.
was holding her leg a bit, had to be helped off by some of her teammates. So potentially an injury there. We hope for a speedy recovery for her because she's a talented individual who's going to do big
Yeah.
things at OU next year. So want to see her healthy and ready to go for her freshman season. But she got to walk away. I believe this is 4 in a row in the 100 meter, if I'm not mistaken. She had to scratch out of the 200, so a little smaller 200-meter field than you would typically expect, which I guess spoiler alert to the next one. But yeah,
Victoria Porter wins in
yes,
24.91.
yes. And this was one that we, heading into the meet, you would go, it's either going to be Jordan Atkinson, your defending champ, or Victoria Porter. It's one of the two. Maybe a Nicole Kozort,
Yeah.
who I believe actually had the fastest time coming in.
So,
But Kozort did not have her best race over the 400 meter, really gave it her all. And then having to turn around, maybe an hour or two later
yeah.
is tough. Victoria Porter, though, showed she had the strength. She was kind of your 400-meter favorite. If you had to pick one coming in, gets upset there, but bounces back into the 200-meter to be the champion and walk away. She also is apparently a fan of the show. So shout out Victoria Porter. If you want to win a 6A 200-meter title, listen to the show. It's scientifically guaranteed because science only makes guarantees that this will happen. Science does not make guarantees.
Let's go. All right. For my 800, yeah, yeah. Jenna Doolin once again gets it done. Um,
Doolin is never the favorite, but you can
yeah,
also never count her out.
exactly.
She obviously is an 800-meter runner, 400-meter runner, so has a little more strength. And I think that really helps her at the state meet when everybody's running multiple events. Everybody's got prelims day one, turn around and recover. I think her 800-meter abilities really help her turn around and recover. She's got the strength, and it really shows over the last 200 meters, 200, but especially that last 30 meters when it's a dogfight. She somehow finds one, maybe even just a half a gear more,
Yep.
but she seems to walk away with it. But Victoria Porter will be back next year to chase the record that I thought would go down. Ended up not going down, but Victoria Porter has another year. And that's a
Yep.
scary thought to that record.
800. It finally happened. Well, it had already happened, but it finally
Yes,
really
the
happened.
meet record happened.
And
She's
the
been so
state
close.
record, 207.83, Bella Nelson. I don't know where this puts her in the country, but it's pretty high up as well.
I imagine so.
Um, yeah. 2:07.83.
Yeah, got some girls behind her PRs, but Bella Nelson, class of the field, heading off to be a poke next year. A lot of this field does not return. Looks to be Kate Barber's year next year, but who knows who comes out of the woodworks and
Yeah,
shows up to challenge. Obviously we've been spoiled to have Bella the last couple years, and so it'll be exciting to see who's next to come up and maybe challenge Bella's record. That'd be exciting.
that'd be
Um,
awesome.
2:07.83.
Same thing, 4:51 to 4.
And the times also
Exactly.
don't tell the full story. My cat just jumped on my desk and knocked stuff off. um, this doesn't tell the full story of this. The meet, as it was going on deeper, the wind started to pick up.
Yep.
Wind was mostly a non-factor day one, a bit breezy, but not the worst. Day two progressively got worse. By the time the miles got on the track, it was getting pretty breezy, but that did not phase Bella and her teammate Ava. Ava went out, set the pace up, helped her out, helped push Bella along. Bella took over the lead pretty quickly, and they challenged for the record. Came up a bit short. Even with 200 meters to go, we go, man, there's actually kind of a real chance she might find that gear and get there, but did not get there, but not for a lack of effort. 4:51.24, still a blisteringly fast time. And Ava 4:58 will return next year.
Yep.
Charlie Keeley, another exciting one, did return at 5:03 there.
3,200, same story.
Same story. Yeah. Yeah. It was this one was a little shockingly more tactical.
Yeah,
The time looks fast, but it was shockingly more tactical for about the first, I believe, mile. There was a pack of Bella, Dugan, Ava, a lot of those. I believe some of the Piedmont girls really started to kind of push the pace early there to try to set something up and maybe break the contenders and get away. Couldn't make it happen. Bella Nelson kicks him down. 10:33 state meet record, 3 seconds off of the outright state record. Dugan, you know, one of the most consistent forces. Always, unfortunately, she was around in the era of Bella Nelson,
yeah,
but she has been a stud and will do big things also at Ole Miss next year.
not a shock here. Well, actually,
I so through the
it's
year,
close, actually.
it was a little bit of a who's gonna be the champion after
Yeah, yeah,
Anara and Kayvon graduate. That was a big story of last year. One of the best races at the state meet coming on the wire. So it was who's gonna be the champion and step up? Well, your long jump state record holder says, watch, hold my Gatorade and watch this. Ends up winning it 13:87. You know, not that far off the state
uh,
meet record. And, obviously the hurdles is not her main event, but she is pretty good at it. Amaya Harrison there, still a junior, will return next year. 14:76.
Kayla Morgan wins by
Yes.
an hour 43.28.
I believe this is her second in a row, if I'm not mistaken. I
I
believe
think
she
so.
won, but she won the 300 meter last year. Lola Smith there, Maya Harrison, those were the other two big contenders. And it was a close race. It was all the way to the wire. 4x1s,
Not shocking.
not at all.
This
And
is
to
a new
walk away with the
record as
meet
well.
record.
And I think it's close
Outright
to the state
record?
record. It's close. I'm not sure if it is, but it's close.
Yes. Certainly quicker than the meet record.
Yeah. 46.16. 4x2. Once again,
Not
not
a shocker.
shocking. 4x4. Not shocking.
This was not shocking,
Crazy.
but this did determine the state race.
Yep.
Tulsa Union and the Broken Arrow coaches, again, shout out to them. They had a
Yeah.
really good breakdown of this as they were watching the team results through the meet. They saw Tulsa Union had a pretty good day one, like a better than expected day one. And so they a lot of points to make up, but Memorial kept clawing into that lead, clawing in that lead. Union started dropping. And it came down to this. If Memorial got second, they walked away in second place, or they walked away in first place. They held on to the record, or they held on to the win.
Yeah.
So Union just needed
And
a
no.
Jinx or a Westmore or someone to surpass them. Wasn't going to happen. Memorial wouldn't be denied. I mean, they had Lola Smith, they had Jenna Doolin, two people who were very good over that 400-ish meter distance. Couple sophomores in there. They've got a bright future over there at Memorial to try to come back next year.
Moving on. 4x8, Owasso. This was kind of up in the air. I mean, we weren't sure.
No,
We were not sure who was going to win. Yeah, Owasso
yeah.
gets it done. I remember Colin and I, there was we saw this. There was a specific point where I think it was their third leg. Aaron Hendrick, where she like surged past Jinx,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was what
That was the move. That
made
was
this happen. Because when she surged past Jinx on her second lap of the third leg,
yes.
that was what did it.
Yes. Jinx, third leg, fading a little bit in that last stretch. Owasso capitalized, set up Bella Nelson. We
Yeah,
thought, like, hey, because they didn't start out up in the lead.
I don't know.
They were slowly working their way back up there. They were close. They were within striking distance. And we are like, if they can just maintain like a 30-meter gap, like if they give Bella 30 meters, I think she can catch whoever's on the anchor.
Yeah,
Well, turns out they handed off with about a 10-meter lead for Bella.
yeah.
And
So
there's no one's gonna catch her there. There'd have to be a
exactly.
serious error on behalf of Bella Nelson for someone to catch her.
Let's see. We get the high jump.
This was another one that was a who is gonna win. Maybe people in the high jump circles could have told us.
Yeah,
We couldn't. Bixby, big team points there. So shout out to Bixby,
yeah.
who also return. They return next year. They go 1-2 at the state meet, and we'll be back next year. That's
Also, sorry to interrupt
Go
you.
ahead. No, go ahead.
This was close
Mm-hmm.
because
On
they
the
both
scorecards.
scratched three on 506. They scratched
Yep.
two on 504, and then
Yep.
she scratched
Yep.
one. That's
Winning
crazy.
off the jumps. Winning off the
Yep.
jumps. Had a cleaner sheet, so she gets to walk away as the champ. But teammates,
Yeah.
at the state meet when you're trying to score points, you're just kind of, hey, I win,
Yeah.
you win. Doesn't matter. We're both on the same team, scoring the points.
Overall, I I guess it was kind of up in the air from what I
A little
remember.
more up in the air. A little
Yeah.
more. It wasn't a foregone conclusion like last year, obviously. But 12 feet, Victoria Marie Juno. Oh, Sean, trivia fact for Sean.
Okay.
What state capital is Juneau? Like, what state is Juneau the capital?
Hawaii.
Nope. You're in the right vein of thought, actually.
Is it Alaska?
It is Alaska.
Okay.
10
Because I
points
was
to
like,
Sean.
I think
It's
that's
a,
like
it's a,
one of those
you
two.
were in the right train of thought of like not in the contiguous 48.
Yeah.
So you were in the right train of thought, but
We almost
not
had
quite.
that one.
Almost.
Long jump, Cassidy Watkins, not shocked. This is a meet record.
Not at all.
Um, Probably top 10 in the country, just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Um,
Somewhere up there.
yeah,
It's yeah.
there you go.
Not much else you need to say. Same thing here. Same
But
story.
yep, meet record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
State
nothing
record holder walks
there.
away.
Just
Neither one of those should
throw.
shock anybody. Tulsa Union.
Lexi Atterbury,
Close one.
138, I believe. Oh, so that was that other
Nope, it
one.
was Borgelt.
Yeah. Yep, good
Tulsa,
stuff.
Tulsa Union, though, throws. Doing all right.
Yeah.
Doing all right. Scoring some points there for the team.
All right.
5A boys.
This was one of the big things. 10-12 meet record, state record.
All the
Kyler
above.
Brown. Yeah, gets it done.
He can do it
10-12,
all.
crazy.
He can do it all except for dance, apparently. No.
And then 10-3-8.
10-3
I
in the
mean, it's
final. He
technically the
wanted
meet
sub
record
10.
final.
It, it's
So,
it is kind of shows to his level that
yeah.
he can be disappointed by a 10:38.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's like 10:38 after, a big first day of racing, ran the 4x1, comes to the 100-meter final, runs 10:38 and is disappointed. Crazy.
200. Oh,
They had a runoff. That's the
yeah.
runoff
Uh,
for who would make it into the prelims.
Anyways, not shocking. 21-5.
Yep.
Tyler
Not a
Brown,
shocker.
boys 400 meters, 48.88. It's pretty good.
I would do want to shout out Alex Schumard. Alex Schumard, a kid that 400, second place, just a sophomore, and also pretty good at the 800, which we'll
Yeah,
see as you scroll down. Noah Darnell
48.01 from
in the
ooh,
final, 48:35.
Darnell gets it done. That's
Schumard,
crazy. 800. Logan Sanders 154.09. Shumard 154.47. That was a heck
good
of a
race.
heck of a race, man.
Good race. The 400-meter guys,
And they're
Sanders,
sophomores.
Sanders and Schumard, both sophomores, really started to push the pace from the jump. Rowan worked his way up to the field, eventually surpassing Ringwald, who faded to fourth.
Yep,
But Rowan, even with the strength of the miler, couldn't run him down at speed, power. You need it for the 800.
exactly. All right. 16. This was one that was up in the air. We weren't sure.
Mm-hmm. I do
I
want to
mean, I
give
know. What do you say?
give gotta give Blevins some flowers because the
Oh yeah.
pace was not the pace was it was bunching up. It's bunching up with about 500 to go. And Blevins made the move to try to win it. He took a big chunk out of it, take a little page out of state meet record holder and his coach, Bryce Balensiefen, trying to make something
Oh
happen.
yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
coach there at Guthrie.
Yeah.
Took off for it, and the Bishop Kelly boys were able to cover the move. Nobody else could, though. And Bishop Kelly walks away 1-2-4, scoring big points.
Big time.
But shout out Blevins for pushing the pace there, going
Yeah.
for it.
This wasn't shocking to me.
Not too shocking, no.
Eli Horled wins the boys 3,200 meter,
Mm-hmm.
9:42. I mean,
Yeah,
he was the favorite coming in.
yeah, him and Adam Siam of Guyman kind of had a battle for
Yeah.
like 7 of the laps. And if Tesfaye and Isaiah Blevins may have stuck closer to him, I think it could have been a very interesting race over the last lap
Yep.
because they were going forward and the other two were going backwards. Obviously, Siam ends up finishing fourth. Horlid still hangs on for the win. But man, if they would have went a little bit sooner, it might have been a different story. But they didn't, and Eli Horlid walks away champion.
You know what's crazy?
Go for it.
This is actually insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
So a union on the board, it
Mm-hmm.
says 9:36 is our school record
Yep.
by a man named Patrick Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're wrong because Patrick Vaughn ran 9:32 at the state meet in 1977. So if you're anybody from that school is hearing me, you need to change that because our school record's wrong.
That's hilarious that the board's wrong. You know,
That's actually
Sean,
crazy.
Sean, if you would just broke the school record, you would have just ran 9:29.
I know, dude.
It would have been no debate. There would have been no debate there, Sean. So you should just
Hey, well, hopefully they'll have a kid that can.
hopefully they will. They've certainly taken some steps forward.
I mean, 1977. Like, I think. I got the closest anybody had gotten, in
Yeah, probably. Good
maybe
chance of it.
ever, for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So that's really sad. So let's get somebody else at Union that can get close at least, because that's not like
That's not
crazy.
crazy, especially
No,
now.
it's not. Anyways, I just thought that was hilarious because this whole time I thought that that our school record was higher than that. Anyways, finals. Oh boy.
110 hurdles, Midwest
Yeah,
City.
Theus.
Goose.
Theus.
I don't know. I want to say like Zeus, but like with a th.
Zeus.
I want to say like Zeus, the Greek god.
Theus. Thes. I don't know.
Close enough. Midwest City anyway walks away, no doubt. State champ. I
1475.
I couldn't have told you who was
Oh,
gonna win it going in. I would have had to do some research on who
and he
was
gets it done
up there.
again.
300.
39.48. Let's go, dude.
A little closer in that one though, but hey,
Yeah,
champ.
absolute beast. All right,
No denying it. Four
final.
by
Booker T.
one.
Washington. This wasn't shocking.
This is shocking,
41-37.
but this is also one of the funniest races to watch because it's like it's literally Booker T is in like second, third place.
Yeah,
Hand the baton, and within 20 meters, they're in first on the anchor. Like
yeah,
just the
dude.
acceleration out of, and this is the reason he was the indoor national high school champion
Yeah,
in the 60,
just
is
gets off the
just
blocks, man.
so much power. And he just gets out and he can walk anybody in the state down. And it showed, and it showed in the finals, it showed in the prelims. It was kind of like, oh man, Duncan or Carl Albert, they might win this. And then you go, nope, never mind. Within
Well,
like 30 meters of Kyler Brown having the
yeah,
stick in his
dude.
hand.
Crazy stuff, man. 4x2, Carl Albert, 126.01 meet. That's the neat
Holding
record
on,
that
yeah.
they beat from what they
Last
did
year.
here last year.
Last year. They are a very
Beat.
solid, like 200, 400 meter school.
Yeah,
Always very, very solid here. So not too surprising.
4x4,
Same
Carl
story.
Albert.
317.
17, that's pretty quick. Um, they were up by a lot. It wasn't much of a
It was
competition.
not much of a team race. I remember looking at this, and the boys' team races were it was impossible for the people who were champions to lose, short of them getting DQ'd. And I actually think 6A, it was impossible for that team to lose.
So according to results here, everybody, wait. Oh, that's hilarious.
They have that just one guy. One
They
guy's
have
got it.
Pat Vaughn again.
Yeah, well, Pat Vaughn actually won that year in the 4x8. He was so good that they
Yeah.
ran him in the 4x8 as a single individual.
Yep.
Bishop Kelly, though, 8 flat. Not I don't think it's too surprising, but
No,
Duncan really has got something going there at
yeah,
800,
no doubt.
to be able to run 801.
High jump. I mean, 5A,
Had to go jump
big
off.
rush, jump off. Good stuff
Yeah.
overall. Um, Pole vault, Colton Kendrick,
Freshman,
freshman out of Glenpool, 14.
cleaner on the
That's awesome.
jumps over the senior.
That's huge.
That's all right.
Good for
Try to
him.
say the guy in second place's last name. I would love to hear your pronunciation.
Cooper
Yep, that's the easy part.
Zickfuse.
I don't know what it is, but yeah. Okay, clear more
I
people.
think that
Please
makes sense.
give us send us a voice note in our DMs. If any Claremore people manage to listen this long, please in our DMs, give us the pronunciation. I want to know.
All right, moving on. Long jump. Tavares Deans, 2303, Lawton.
Foot and a
Good
half.
stuff.
Maybe not foot and a half. Not close to foot
Yeah,
and a half.
good stuff.
Champion.
Sean Hughes, 5807.5. Great throw.
Probably the best hair in the division.
Yep. Uh, Discus. We'll talk about this one.
Not a shocker, Gavin Gunter.
Yep. Got it
Not
done.
not a shocker. Sean Hughes there in second. I believe they do some training together. They seem to at least be really good friends
Yeah.
up on the medal stand. But yeah, I don't
Good
think a
Lord,
shocker.
the
Gavin
state
Gunter,
record's 210 by golly.
yeah, Ada 181, 6. I was asked about this in the question box. I went and looked, and I love consistency in field events because I don't believe you are your personal best in most field events. I think you are like the average of your top like 3 to 5.
Yeah,
And his 3 to 5 was like 20 feet further than anybody else's on
yeah. Well, that
average.
kind of proves
And
the
he,
exact case here.
he had one of those statistics where it's like of the top 10 throws, he had 7 of them in the division. He's
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm gonna go with him.
Moving on to 6A. Okay.
Prelims, moving down. Defending champ was Caleb Barnett. A little bit of a story here. I'm
Yeah,
trying to take pictures of this at the finish line. I see they have Caleb Barnett and Grant Moeller. They were the top two qualifiers from the prelims. They're next to each other. I'm trying to get pictures of them. It's really good battle. Very, very close. Lane one. It is always where you don't expect him. Like, think back to Tulsa Union meet. He's
yeah,
in like the fourth fastest heat, and he ends up being the champion of the whole meet. Well, this time he's lane one, so not a high seat. He's on the out, like on the very inside. So he actually DM'd us and he goes, "Hey man, do you have any pictures of that 100-meter final? I'd love to have them." And I go, "I actually missed you on that." And the reason I missed him was Caleb Barnett and Grant Moeller looked like they were going to walk away with it. And it didn't look like Gage Gibbons was close, but Gibbons closed like a freight train
yeah,
to
dude,
pass
that
the
was
defending
crazy.
champ and your top qualifier, Grant Moeller, Caleb Barnett. Like it was very, very good race. Gage Gibbons, just a sophomore, coming back for 2 more years. He'll be an exciting watch.
Yep.
Bear Boyd.
Yeah, 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 that's how you say it. 2166.
Yep, Bear
Yeah,
Boyd,
man.
the champion here. Out of Norman, not a guy that maybe going through the season you would have thought of to be the champion on the day, but he had the best qualifier, comes through yet again in the final. But yeah, shout out to Bear Boyd, shout out to Norman High. You don't get to see Norman High a lot anymore.
4810 gets in for the prelim, and then 48 flat.
Out of
That's pretty
Jarek.
quick.
Caden
Jared.
Wolf. Caden Wolf, talk about a meet. Was an absolute workhorse for Broken Arrow. Not a guy who, maybe gets his flowers across the state. Everybody kind of talked about Brody Pitt from indoor, his success breaking the indoor record. Caden Wolf stepped up to the 4x8 and ran a very good leg. I would love to see him in an open eight. Would love to see him in open eight. He's got another year. I'm Partridge. I'm pleading with you. Please put him in open eight one time against like a Daniel Davis. I want to see it. It'll be a good race. He closes so strong. He beat Cam Stuckless here. Cam Stuckless, we know how good he is at 800. Marquise Evans was a story last year as a freshman. Dealt with some injuries, I believe, in the fall. Making it all the way back to finish fourth in the state as a sophomore. Pretty good as well. He'll return next year. He's a big talent. Caden Wolf, Marquise Evans, probably going to be your race next year. Also, Brody Pitt. Don't forget about him.
Harry Ormiston.
Yes.
For some reason, every single time he's in results, it's
They
an
don't
eight.
capitalize his
They don't
name. I think
capitalize
that's
his
an
name.
that's an error on whoever entered him into like direct athletics the first time.
153.02. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, great
I think
race.
that he was my
Daniel
pick to
Davis
win.
had a heck of a day. I mean,
There was certainly a strong argument for who could win for
yeah,
about three individuals. One
me
of those
right.
individuals got
Daniel
immediately
Russell.
eliminated because he didn't contest the 800 at the regionals. That was Noah Thayer,
Yeah,
coming off of last year. Then we thought, okay, so it's Harry O, Daniel Davis, then maybe like a Sam Russell. Sam Russell was kind of like your fourth best guy in the state, kind of a sneaky dark horse candidate. Daniel Davis he had the state lead and he had like 3 of the top 5 fastest times on the year. But Harry O on that Edmond Memorial 4x8 they go down to like a Texas relays where you can get the splits for each leg, like
Yeah.
verifiable splits from the timing company. And, he had run 151, 152. You're like, okay, maybe it's Harry O, Daniel Davis. There was an argument for both athletes. Harry O, though, made there be no argument on the day. Walked away your champion. Absolute guy. One of the most fun interviews, I think. That's one interview I would like to request gets posted from Sean. Sean has them all. Do you have the interview still on your phone, or did
Yeah,
you delete them all?
I should.
Or did you clear
I'm
them?
gonna do that with this today or
Because
tomorrow.
Harry O is a character. Harry O really is a character,
Yeah,
and I think he'd be a good one to show the personalities across the state. That you don't have to be just a robot to be good. He
yeah.
is a very interesting human being.
I think
Uh,
also what's probably worth talking about is
Don Matthias.
Dominic Mathias gets fourth in the 800. I don't think I mean,
Nobody really predicted this.
yeah. I mean,
Nobody,
at least for the
nobody
800,
for
people
the
thought the
800.
mile, 2 mile, yeah, but
Because going into the season, everybody looked at him very much off in the lens of he's a very strength athlete. He's better as
yeah,
the races go on. The couple of times he would run an 800 indoors in the beginning of outdoor season, he didn't look that good. But that man really started to figure it out.
you
And maybe this is a testament to the coaching program that he's on right there. But he really peaked at the right time with his speed. And 155.35 as a freshman, it's pretty good for a guy who's not necessarily highly regarded for his 800-meter abilities. So
know,
moving on down to the mile.
Brody
John,
Masson.
give it to us here.
Brody Masson. Brody Masson, he gets first in the mile. He kind of,
Give us the story of this race.
so he went out pretty hard. I mean, he was in the lead for quite a while. It was him and Matthias. Matthias started to kind of die back, which we sort of thought could happen just because he had done the 800, the 2 mile, probably the 4x8
He
too.
did do
So
four by eight.
it was a big day. And then it was Masson, Matthias, Langdon was in the mix, and then Noah. He was back in like eighth or ninth, and then just those last two laps. I don't know what his 800 split was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was. Probably like 203, 202, to be completely honest with you. I mean,
I would love to know the split from 600 meters out to like 200 meters out, like that
yeah,
400-meter like clip right there,
dude,
because
that would have
it
had
may
to
have
have
been
been
under
like,
60, because that's when he made the move. There's
yeah,
about
because he
600 to
was, I
go.
mean, listen, like for the people that didn't see this, to put it into perspective, like Colin just said, with about six to 800 left, probably like 600, honestly.
Close to six.
He was right around this territory.
These guys, yeah, the guys that finished there.
So like 430, and then he finished 414 and he almost won.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that was. I mean,
He
insane 1 second split, but couldn't get the win.
Masson held him off.
He's been consistent all year. I think he was off of time, he wasn't your favorite, but off of
Sure.
consistency, he was your favorite, and yeah,
Showed it on the day.
proved it again, man, which is awesome for him. So good stuff on that race. Dominic Mathias dominates the 3,200 meters. Nobody thought he would, I think, dominate like that. I
No.
mean, he pulled away and just never looked back.
So we had a question posed to us on the Instagram that was that Dominic Matthias dominates the distance events and like absolutely runs away with them. And I was like, although I didn't think it was likely, I thought there was a scenario where it happened. And this
Yeah,
race happened to be that scenario. Is that Matthias kind of felt a pretty slow early pace about 800 meters in and goes, I'm not leaving it to that. I'm not leaving it to a kick. I want to go assert myself and show these guys like, hey, I've arrived. I'm here. And he
yeah,
took off. And the only guy that even tried to really go with him was Masson. Masson tried to go with him for a while, couldn't quite hang. Matthias did what Matthias needed to do to win this, I believe, which was to really run the legs out of everybody else. And that's what he attempted in the mile. He led the early stages of
Yep.
the mile, tried to pull out Brody Masson a bit. Did that's what created the gap that Thayer had to bridge was Matthias in the 16. And from watching this on day one, Noah Thayer didn't look great. Kind of was up with like the chase pack for a bit, but faded as the race went on. Like he was up with Mez, Maxton Barker, Micah John. He was up in that region and slowly just started to fade back.
Yep.
It was really a tale of two Thayers. And I think a good summary for just Thayer in general is it literally is a tale of two Thayers his entire career. Is it the Thayer that kind of looks okay? Looks like he's hurting a bit and kind of fades back. Or is it the Thayer that's like a world breaker?
Yeah.
Even in events you don't necessarily consider him in like last year, the state meets 800-meter. Nobody was giving Noah Thayer any thought, and I think he finished like fourth.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a tale of two
Oh
Thayers in
man.
his entire career, and if you get the good Thayer, he's the best in the state. Intense,
Keaton Johnson from Broken Arrow. That was a huge event for them for
huge event.
3131. They also got
One,
second
two.
place.
Weren't really sure how
Parker
this was gonna
Melton.
go. I
Yeah.
kind of thought Britton McCune, Keaton Johnson put something in the question box saying that he was gonna win it, and then he made sure to DM us afterwards. Said, "I told you I'd win it," and I said, "Hey, you know, speak it, believe it, receive it."
Yeah.
Say you're gonna
Caleb
do it.
Goodman.
Say you're gonna do it until you believe that you're gonna do it, and then believe you're gonna do it until you do it. So
Yeah. Hey, there you
sometimes you
go.
got to be a little delusional, but it pays out. It pays out.
Caleb Goodman, 3751.
Another one that I would not have been able
Pretty
to
close
predict.
race.
Another one I
Yeah.
would not have been able to predict without that question box. Caleb Goodman. People were in there saying, "Hey, this is the guy to watch. This is your guy," and
Yeah.
he showed out on the day. So got it done.
Tulsa Union wins. This wasn't in years past, they've kind of been like the favorite far and away. This wasn't as much of a, this was a bit more of a,
Up in the
what's
air.
the right word here? Up in the air.
Up in
Yeah.
the air. Yeah.
You know, but they,
Yeah.
once again get it done. Um, 48-6.
Yeah. I mean, Jinx looked really good even in qualifying. I mean,
Yep.
Owasso earlier in the year upset both teams at Tulsa Union. There
Yeah.
was some, this wasn't the unbeatable force that we've seen out of Tulsa Union sprints, like even like last year. Last year was like Tulsa Union probably going to sprint, probably going to sweep 4x1 to 4x4. And then they won the team title off of that.
Yeah.
This year, it was a lot more of a, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But Jinx coming in second, big
Four
team
by two.
implications,
Jinx, huge victory.
huge victory here.
Like massive. So 125-31. Almost getting the
Almost getting the meet record.
but
Yep.
that's BA
BA,
Edmond
more big team points.
Memorial six.
Memorial. Union
That hurt
fades to
him.
six, but they didn't run a full A
Jarrett.
squad. Jarek was
Yeah.
not on it, but Jarek runs out of events pretty quickly when he's 400,
Yeah.
200, 4x4. You start running, I think he ran the 4x1, so he was out of events anyway.
Yeah. Boys 4x4. Broken
BA,
arrow 315, man. Sheesh.
the
Get it
revenge of
done.
BA. The revenge of BA.
Yeah.
Last year the storyline was, Union, BA, Union, BA. But then Union just really put their foot down closed the door on BA last season.
Yep.
Good to see BA has reloaded a little better than maybe Union did in this event.
Yeah.
Came out 315. Also, shout out Edmond Memorial for basically running their 4x8. That's
Yeah.
Stuckless, Zach Lewis, Harry O. All you're missing, all you're missing is Carson Pillow. Well, you're
Yeah.
also missing Jed Helker, Carson Kordokis, Simon Greiner, whoever else they claim is on their 4x8, not actually the normal guys.
4x8. 747.80. They missed the state meet record, but they already had the state record, so who cares?
Yeah,
But,
they
um,
went out there for a win. They looked very dialed in. This was one of my favorite events at the Deer Creek meet when we went was the 4x8. How effortlessly Ed Memorial won that. And I believe they actually went 1-2 with their B team relay.
Yeah.
Is the only guy that was pushed on that entire relay was Stuckless on leg one, and he was only pushed by his teammate on the B squad. And by the time they gave it to Harry O was smiling as he came around. Well, this time Harry O was all business. Now he didn't look like he was straining. Like he didn't look like he was having to just gut it to the end. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And you got
Also, more.
Moore in second. Huge, huge,
Give it up to more.
huge day for them,
Give it
man.
up for more. More
And Tulsa Union.
hired a new coach, Dustin Metler,
Yeah.
previously of Hutch Community College. He had a lot of success at Hutch Community College with their distance squad at the JUCO level. Moved down there. I think Moore's in good hands, and they'll be a dangerous force over the next few years with the talent they have coming through
Yeah.
that school. So, yeah.
Tulsa Union third. I never thought I'd see the day where Tulsa Union runs 108, but I'm very happy to see it.
And not a
Good.
single senior on it.
Yeah. Good for those guys,
Not a
man.
single senior. I
And
think they're the only
I
one.
received some inside information
Give it to
from
us.
the coach that Jackson Boyd just came to track like
Exciting.
like a month ago.
Keep it up.
Yeah. So good for
Also,
him.
please give me Caden Wolf in an 800.
Yeah.
Partridge, BA coaching staff. We know you guys listen. Caden Wolf, open 800 next year. If a college wants to hire me, I will recruit Caden Wolf so hard to come there to run the 4 and the 8 and scores a lot of points.
Yeah. Well, moving on to the high jump. This we actually caught the end of this.
It was great competition.
Yeah.
It went to a jump off.
Yep.
It went to a jump off. They were the exact same sheet all the way through until 610. They gave the jump off. They gave 2 extra jumps to both athletes.
Daniel, yeah, but wins it 6'10".
Mm-hmm.
What is the neat record? 7. Yeah, no one's getting that. All right, I'm 4.
Yebbit might get that. Yebbit might get that.
He
Yebbit,
might, yeah,
he's same school. He's a sophomore this
yeah,
year, and Vernon is still around there helping out. So Vernon might pass off some wisdom to the young buck. He might do it over the next 2
that'd be
years.
cool. Pole vault, this surprised some people.
It really did. Last year
Aiden Barry wins in 16 feet.
last year the
Big time.
surprise champion was Wesley Turner as a freshman.
Yeah,
Really broke out onto the scene, won it. Wasn't the favorite coming in, but he looked to be the favorite this year. I think he had jumped 16, maybe 16.4 ish range. Didn't have his best day, but Caden Barry double PRs on his way to the championship. So that's stepping up when it counts. Also, Kiefer Landis going to Clark University. My old cross country GA, Patty Robb is the distance coach there. So if anybody who knows, Broken Arrow coaching staff, tell Kiefer Landis to go up to Patty Robb and say, "What's up, Shagger?" That's a term of endearment amongst the UK people. It's nothing bad, but Patty Robb will really appreciate it. Also, call him Patrick Robb.
there you go. Boys long jump.
He always steps up when it counts.
Yeah, Caleb, he got it done again. Good
He
for him. That's
he
big
is
time.
one of the, if not the most clutch athlete in 6A. Is all season long. You don't necessarily have him picked as the favorite in any of his events. You think, oh, maybe this other guy is really having his year. But Caleb Barnett, back-to-back years, shows up when it matters. This was a good competition here. 6A boys shot put. This was
Fire Jinx wins it.
came down to the final throw to win it all. Came down to Joseph Swallow as well.
Yeah.
Set his best on his last, well, not his last throw. He fouled his last legal throw. Now, maybe that throw he fouled on the last one may have went farther.
Yeah.
But 56-11, 55-10. It was very fun to listen from the infield because we were out there trying to grab interviews, trying to grab pictures. So we weren't able to make it over to the throws. But the throws, you could hear him getting rowdy back there. And it was good. It sounded like a good time, honestly.
Yeah. Moving on. Discus. Maverick Nance wins and it's 164.04.
Yeah. I don't know if there was a favorite in this one as well.
I don't think so.
I don't think there was, and I think that capitalized.
All
Going out of
right,
your
so
team,
rankings.
walk us through the
Cranmore
teams, Sean.
wins. Cranmore wins 5A. Oranmore second. Women, class 6A. Edmond gets it done. 110. Tulsa Union second, 108. That's a heartbreaker for them.
Yeah, so close.
Uh,
The women haven't won, I think, in
a while.
a while, over a decade.
Men, class A, class 5A, Carl Albert wins pretty handily. Men, class 6A, Jinx
Same story.
wins pretty handily. And then BA
Yep.
second. And then 5A second was
Duncan
Duncan High School. Boom.
stepping up. All right,
Hooray.
that's that's it for us. Don't know if we have any plans for summer content, but we'll be trying to get some stuff
Um,
out.
we might. I'll figure it out. We'll do something. In
Yeah, we'll
terms of
we'll think of some
podcasts, I don't
stuff.
know, but
We might start doing way too early predictions for cross country. Um,
yeah, we could do that.
we
We'll
might
do
throw
that.
some way too
We'll
early.
do that, and then there's some track stuff that'll happen like in
Yeah,
July and June and
yeah. We'll cover a
late
little bit
May,
of
so we
the
could,
AAU circuit stuff. People going off to like a
yeah,
Nike Nationals,
yeah,
running lane, those kind of events over the next, I believe, the next week, 2 weeks
yeah.
are a lot of those events. So we're trying to cover that. Anybody who is still listening, if you guys do go run at a postseason meet or an
So
AAU,
yeah,
let us know because it's way harder to keep track of who goes where. Because if we don't know to go look at Nike Nationals for athletes from Oklahoma, we may miss you. But if you go out there,
yeah.
you set a PR, maybe you win, maybe you don't. I don't know. Tell us how you did. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys for paying attention to us over the year. It's been a long semester for both of us.
Yeah.
Very chaotic and hectic. We were not nearly as consistent as we were a year ago as far as content production,
Oh,
but hope you guys enjoyed what little we were able to produce. And Sean, I think there's only one way to end an episode.
oh boy.
Answer Sean
Advice.
Rutledge advice of the week.
Go outside this summer.
Go outside this
Don't
summer.
stay inside.
Go to Josh's snow shack.
That too, but just like go outside, go to the lake, go to the pool,
Go
go
make
sit in
memories.
the grass, like for just
Yeah,
for real, get some
because
stuff right, man.
especially if you're coming to the end of your like high school career, it may be the last chance you get to hang out with your friend group all together
Yeah, it could be.
before everybody goes off to college and maybe
Get
gets a
some
summer
sunlight.
job
Get a
somewhere.
bike again
Get a bike.
and go bike.
Go get a razor scooter.
Heck yeah,
Get a
dude.
razor scooter and jump
We have
off
one
some
here.
curbs.
Heck yeah,
You
dude.
have a razor scooter, dude.
Well, my brother does, but I
You can
like
ride it.
it.
You can
It's
ride it. Why
fun.
not? Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun, man.
I was helping some of my friends move, and they had a razor scooter, and we wanted to ride it down the ramp of the moving truck, but we decided we also like our bones to still be in
Yeah, that's
one
also what
piece.
I've learned is that things hurt a little bit more.
They
So
do hurt a little more. I'm
I
not
feel
made
like
of
if
rubber
I were to
anymore.
jump off a curb and I fell, I might be down for the count a little bit more than I was when I was 12. So
Falling off a curb,
I
like
don't
a
know.
4 inch curb.
I'm saying if I took a scooter and jumped off a
Oh,
curb
oh,
and
okay.
then I
I
like
thought you
face
just stepped
planted.
off a curb. I thought you stepped off a curb and
Well,
bit
I
it.
remember, dude, like when I was little, I used to jump off of trees and stuff
Yeah.
and
Oh,
just
yeah.
land on my 2 feet and
I think we
everything
were
was
talking about this at the state meet of like
yeah,
jumping
I
off of
was
like
gonna leap off
slides
trees, dude.
and like little rock walls and stuff
Yeah.
and hitting the ground and just bouncing right back up and keeping going. I could not imagine doing that anymore. I have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning. No, I don't. I'm not that old. I did just get a year older, but not that old. I am
Yeah.
getting. I was talking about this actually at the A2A state meet with my high school coach, and we were joking around about how I'm getting old, and I just go like, yeah, I'm getting old at an alarming rate. Like it is exponential. Like it is not a linear relationship of age. It is
Yes.
exponential. So I can only imagine. And now, again, if the BA coaching staff is still listening, they're probably sitting here like, oh, you guys are in your 20s. You guys are still spry young fellas. And I can only imagine how much I'm going to be complaining when I am their age. So, not to call you guys old, but um, we can banter a little bit with the coaches. It's way more fun. But anyway,
All
that's it
right.
for now. We will see you guys when we see you, or
Thank
maybe
you
we
guys for
won't. Who
listening.
knows?